Welcome to the beautiful city of Athens, the gateway to the Tennessee Valley, a city rooted in deep community relationships and built on a rich tradition of small local business and the very best of the human spirit. As Athens embraces the future, the signs of progress are in full bloom. Join us as we discover the bright spots in this charming southern city that we call home. This is Hometown Heartbeat, Athens. What's going on, everybody? Zach Walker here, Hometown Heartbeat edition 4697. Feels like joined again by Coach and National Treasure, Thad Prater. Coach, how are you today, buddy?
Good.
You living your best life or what?
Living it.
He's living something. We were just sitting here talking, as you could see with our new shot that we added. You could see we're sitting here trying to figure out what to talk about. I did want to take a moment before we get started, and we will have updates on this. We'll bring this to you as we go. A friend and someone that I knew through the baseball community died last night to some senseless violence, and so. Just wanted to let the Sutton family know that we love you guys. We're praying for you. And Nathan Fitz, one of the dads involved with the team that Jaden played on, just let me know. It literally just came in that they are organizing a GoFundMe that we will certainly put out here on the show as soon as it becomes available, and we will keep you up to date on that. But for those of you that knew Joey, you knew that Joey was, he loved kids. He loved his kid. He loved his wife. He loved his family. He loved sports, and would do anything in the world for anyone that knew him. I'll never forget, me and Luke Harris were driving in my old Bronco that I'd bought, and there was something wrong with something, and it died. And we were right there under the bridge by Burger King on 72, and out of nowhere, Joey Sutton just like pops up out of nowhere, like an angel out of nowhere, and just starts pushing. And they pushed my Bronco out of the way. And so, anyways, I hated to hear that late last night, and certainly in prayer for the family and all those involved. But we will keep you up to date on that as the GoFundMe develops and the details come out and such like that. So, anyways, yeah. So we were sitting here talking about, what are we going to talk about? So I Googled news. You mean to tell you what it came back with?
What did it come up?
Absolutely nothing. Just ads for different news stations. But we were just talking about a couple things. Graduations are happening, and I know that Connor said he had a tweet that he had popped up. Here we go. So Athens, we're excited to announce graduation plans for AHS on May the 21st. Now, am I correct in saying that was the original? I thought I saw something.
Think it was the 22nd originally, I believe, but it may have been 21st.
So they're basically staying on schedule.
Yeah, they're trying to work out some details. I talked to Dr. Carter this morning, and they're trying to grid it off, separation, that kind of deal. They're trying to decide how many people they can allow in, things like that. So I think he's going to let people know this Friday a little bit more info on how to, who's going to be involved and how they can whatever.
Well, I know that it's not what every senior had thought about in terms of, as they spent their last 18 years preparing for this day. It's certainly not what they hoped for, but it is better than not having anything, no doubt. And again, Andre Holt joining us.
Hey, Andre.
Hey, that's my dude right there. And let me tell you something. When he was at Popeyes, he was the best drive-through operator there was there. But no, Andre was an athlete that played baseball for Thad, and then I was able to be a part of that team for a year or two, and certainly a good kid, and hope you're doing well, buddy. But we were talking about, right before we jumped into this, the MLB proposes an 82-game season. So Major League Baseball has formalized its plan to return to the field, with teams agreeing Monday on a proposal to send to the Players Union for an 82-game season that would start without fans in early July. The plan would include an expanded playoff field, and the designated hitter for all games, even those in the National League. Well. The plan must clear major obstacles to become reality. For instance, the union. And they're not going to do that, more than likely. They would also need to have enough tests for every player and employee within their employ.
Yeah.
And I once thought I was going to marry Megan Fox. So the reality is, that's probably not going to happen. I don't know where all this lands, Coach. First of all, why would you? This is like Congress. This is like Congress right here. Coronavirus bill. It's funding for what I want. It's like throw some. Why are we going to throw the National League doesn't want your designated hitter American League. Keep that out of here. We don't want that.
They're going to think, well, we're just going to change the rules.
Yeah, it's called looting.
It's going to stay in.
It's called looting. And it's what your Congress did to you when they were going for the funding bills that they passed and didn't pass and then didn't pass again and all that. But this is not going to – oh, here we go. Here's the kicker. What have I said from day one? The golden rule. The man with the gold makes the rule. Follow the gold. You'll understand why the rule is what it is. The postseason – a lucrative revenue source for owners, would expand to 14 teams from 10 with 2 additional wild cards in each league. Wild card games are money-making boogers because they are it's a single game. You win it and go. You win it and move on, and you lose it and you go home. Huge revenue generators. They sell out almost every time. And so it seems to me that this is a owner-favored a proposition, if you will. You know who has the money? The owner. That would be the man with the gold. That'd be the man that makes the rule. So I would very likely say that there's probably a chance. I doubted it before, but there's a chance this does go through. You know why? Because the rich white guys want it to happen. Andre Holt says, "Hey guys, appreciate it. I miss y'all and playing ball for you two every day. Andre, we miss you, buddy."
Yeah, we do.
What's Andre up to these days? Andre, what are you up to these days? If you're still watching, let us know what you're up to, man. I'm curious. I'll never forget. It was me and my wife and Andre, and I think who else was in the back of that? It was like Mason. Obviously, Mason was there. And there was one, we were packed into my wife's little white sedan. And we were going to that wood bat tournament that I signed us up for in Watertown, Tennessee, where Cade Bolin hit a wood bat bomb after his dad gave us a hard time about wood bat tournaments. Well, I don't know why you'd ever play in a wood bat tournament. We don't use wood bats in the games. Anyways, I turned on like some classic rock. And it was like, Toto and Africa. And this. And Andre was back there just getting after it, dude. Like we landed right in his wheelhouse. It's one of my wife's favorite memories of coaching that team. That we had a good team.
That was a good team.
There's a lot of personalities on that team. Bailey Cornerman's going to come be on the show.
Oh yeah,
yeah. He's been supposed to come be on the show for like 2 weeks. He's a busy man.
He's a businessman now.
He's a business man. He wears a suit and tie. I don't know anything about that. But no. So back to the MLB. Look. At the end of the day, we all want to see. Look, NASCAR is going to happen on Sunday, and I've never watched a NASCAR race in my life, and I'm probably tuning in. You know why? I just want to see somebody compete for something.
I've been twice.
You've been to but I heard it's different going to the race.
The beginning and the end is the best part.
As it is with any game or any sport or anything, right? Because that's where all the drama takes place. If you're in the back of the field and you want to make your way to the front, my wife and I got into Formula One. Mm-hmm. Do you have Netflix?
I do not. Yeah, I got it.
Oh, I was about to say we need to get this man out from underneath a rock. There is a show on there called Formula One Drive to Succeed. And I'm not a racing guy. Don't like NASCAR. Would never be into Formula One. It's a bunch of rich people driving fast cars, living a life that I'll never even understand. And for some reason, it was in 4K. I got a new TV, and it was like one of the ones that was in 4K, and I was like, I got to watch this in 4K. So I turned it on. My wife and I binge watched the whole episode, or the whole season. It's really, really good. It's like the back end of Formula One. And while it is a very rich sport that I will never know anything about, like the closest I'll ever get to a race is like they have one in Austin, Texas, but the rest of them are in like Monaco and like, in places that you never have a shot at going to, Singapore or whatever. What goes on behind the scenes is actually incredible. Like the science and the development, like these guys have a budget, and within their budget, they have to develop these cars that are unbelievable, and they just do this and they do that. And these drivers are like well-tuned machines. Anyways, we dove into it. So then it was like the season before. So it set up the season. So we started watching the races. It's actually really interesting. Formula One, I didn't give it enough. I didn't give it enough at all, but we really found ourselves enjoying it. And we were like, they put out a second season on Netflix. You got to check it out.
I might check it out.
I mean, because it's pretty cool. It's all about the science and the physics and everything that goes into these cars. I mean, these cars are taking corners at 120, 130. Oh, yeah. I mean, they're built to, they have one purpose: go really fast in corners, curves, straights. By the way, forgot to say hello to Connor. Connor, how are you, buddy?
Hello, and better late than never.
Okay, you got your jab in. You got your jab in today. Connor's over there producing as usual, doing his thing. But no, so sorry I jumped around from Major League to Formula One, but it is time for us to get some sports returning. Have you heard anything from the NCAA, Thad?
I looked at a thing today about football, and football's still up in the air. I think their goal is somewhere June 15th, something like that, 12th, so they can get started. They feel like they can still make it happen. I just don't know. Whatever they decide. Some people saying, well, students have to be back first before they let football happen.
Which most schools have said were. Well, let me back up. Most Southeastern Conference schools have said we're coming back.
Yeah.
Nick Saban said, by God, we're playing football. Y'all coming back to campus. And the president of Alabama was like, if Nick wants us back, let's go back. But no, I'm looking here at an article from the president, Mark Emmert, right? And he says if school doesn't reopen, they're not going to be playing sports. It's that simple. And so, 3/4 of colleges and universities tracked by the Chronicle of Higher Education plan to reopen for in-person classes. That's 75%. So what would a world look like where 25% of intercollegiate, like, let's say you're Notre Dame's, or for instance, or you're into, like, they say, well, y'all can do what you want, but we're not coming back. How does that change the landscape for sports when you don't have 100% of the field?
Well, all your big ones are coming back. They're coming back. It's going to be your, some of the D2s and things like that. Even some baseball's already canceled till next year.
That's absurdity.
Yeah. I know a couple of JUCOs have already. So
that's absurdity. My wife just joined. Hey, babe, my mom says she's ready for some sports. My mother and sister have joined us. They've driven up from Texas. They're here in town for the week. And my little sister she's really excited about it. She's going to come co-host with me this week. I'm lying. Wow. I'm going to have to drag her up here, but I'm going to get her up here, by God, one way or the other. Janet Hamilton joining. Hello, Janet. How are you? Andre Holt says, I'm currently supposed to graduate from Calhoun on Friday. Congratulations, buddy. And he says he's looking for employment in the logistics field. I got you, big dog. Give me a call. We're hiring. Coronavirus be darned. We're hiring. Come on with it. No, I'd love to hire Andre. He's a hardworking dude.
He is. Very hard.
Good kid.
Yeah.
Really good kid. Fast, real fast. Strong as an ox.
Yeah.
I mean, run through a wall strong.
Yeah.
I'll never forget that night at Coleman. That's all I'm going to say. Andre, you know what I'm talking about. No, it is certainly, we're getting back to normal. The NCAA, I don't think they have any choice. I read an article the other day. I'm trying to find it now. It talked about the economy, the economics behind NCAA.
Big money.
Like, the bowl season is going to happen. I don't care if they've got to take Nick Saban and 10 of his best buddies and a quarterback from 1987. Like, they're playing football in bowl season. There are corporate sponsors with corporate money with bigger pockets than you can ever imagine that rely on that revenue, and it's months and months away. Like, bowl season, I don't care what you say, and I'm not advocating for or against, so save your stupid email. I'm not advocating either way, but bowl season's going to happen. I don't care who's in the bowl games. Bowl season's going to happen. I think I'm going to go out on a limb. Connor, this is dangerous. I see like Connor's face right now. He's terrified, and he should be. Football's happening this year. You heard it here first. It's happening. There's no way. Again, it's all, if you trace anything in this life, being an entrepreneur and failing for 33 years of my life, or 32 and a half years of my life, has taught me so much about the way the world actually works. Like, there's the world that you're taught about in school. There's the world where you can't use a calculator on a test. There's a world where you have to show your work. And then there's the real world. And the real world is all about results. It's all about how do you get to where you need to be faster, cheaper, and better than anybody else. That's all that matters. And what I'm telling you is football is there are sports, there's schools, every major school would operate at a deficit in the athletic department without football season. Behind football, baseball and basketball typically lead the charge. But other than that, there's not a single sport on campus that operates in the positive.
True.
I love the input. True. He's color.
Well, you know that I was looking at an article today or on Twitter. Auburn's softball, they're all big excited. They're building a brand new indoor hitting facility and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, wow, where do you think that money comes from?
That's right. No, that's exact. I mean, think about this. So, for those of you that are dumb or not dumb, just uninformed, that's not fair. I apologize. If I hurt your feelings, I'm sorry. The way the world turns is through the money that is generated. Nothing is free. Nothing is free in this life. There's absolutely nothing you can get for free, even though things that are given to you for free are paid for by someone else all the time. There's nothing in the world that's free. And so when colleges in this arms race of facility, the facility arms race you saw LSU. Did you see their new, Connor, I want you to Google LSU's new football locker room. I don't know, for those of you that haven't seen this, my family they're LSU fans, my wife's side, they're all from Louisiana. And so I stay pretty on top of LSU because I got to make sure when I can trash talk and when I can't. Last year was tough. But they they did some facility upgrades last year that were the most unbelievable thing I've ever seen. Look at this. They have airplane style beds. Like these beds fold out. I'm talking about millions and millions of dollars. They brought in a freaking interior design person to make this thing nice. And that's, why they do it? Recruiting.
Their baseball stadium is one of the best college stadiums.
You talking about Alex Box? You talking about that's baseball heaven. For those of you for college baseball, for baseball fans in general,
that's a major.
That is there are other Vanderbilt. They've won a lot. Florida's won a lot. You got UCR. You got a lot of the California schools. But LSU, as far as baseball is concerned, is like the holy grail of college baseball stadiums. Mm-hmm. And they invest. You know why? Because recruiting. And I'm not going to dive off into how these millennial kids are entitled to this, that, and the other, and they want fancy this, fancy that. Back in the day, it wouldn't have mattered. Back in the day, it wouldn't have mattered. You'd go where you could play or you could win, one of the two. Nowadays, it's all about your Instagram and your following and being an influencer.
NCAA is fixing to pay them.
That's another topic for another day. Because I bet I would surprise a lot of you with my stance on that. I think y'all absolutely have to pay them. I think there's no way around it. I think you absolutely – you either that or Zion Williamson. You heard about that this week? Zion Williamson came – oh, yeah. Oh, Duke's about to go down. Yeah, it came out like his parents accepted money. They demanded money from Adidas, from Nike, and it all stems – from greed, right? Yeah. Zion wanted to cancel a contract with a marketing firm, and the marketing firm said, we know where the bodies are buried. Watch this. And then in court, the way it works is you make statements, and the opposition has to either affirm or deny. Like, it is a fact that you accepted a payment from Adidas. If Zion says yes, he's screwed. If he says no, but he actually did, and they have proof, which he would know if they have proof, then he's screwed. And so the NCAA, this whole thing is screwed up anyways. And so back to the whole point of what we're talking about, the money is what drives all of this. The money is what pays for the stadium, is what pays for the facilities. Those facilities are what allow you to recruit the talent. The talent is what allows you to win on the field. It's this big vicious circle. And I'm not saying there's anything inherently wrong or inherently right. I think there's problems in the system. I think there will, if anybody can find, the only perfect system in the world is communism, right? And it's only good on paper. It doesn't work anywhere else, right? So there's nothing perfect about anything in this world, but we've got to move forward because money has to come in the door because donors are not going to give to a loser. Ask me how Tennessee's, I bet Tennessee's numbers would be up on the old donor tree if they were winning. I guarantee you Alabama's are through the roof. And look, I'm an Alabama fan, but before anyone says anything stupid like, oh, he's just another Bammer, I could care. There was a moment in my life where I worshiped football, and then I grew up, and it really doesn't. I didn't play there, I didn't go there, I could care less. I'm just a fan. I enjoy watching football, and that's my team, has been since I was born. Could care less. Win, lose, or draw. This year, LSU was the best team in football. They won. They deserved to win. I didn't lose a minute of sleep. Not 1 minute of sleep. But the facts are the facts. The money is what drives this whole thing. So for us to, for a moment, even consider the fact that there won't be football, I believe, is absurdity. Because I think the people that have power in this country will not allow that to happen.
No.
And everybody in the SEC said, amen and roll tide. No, I mean, as we're opening up, I'm seeing all kinds of – Coach, what have you seen about all the different literally – Georgia opens up, and the day they open up, there's articles coming out saying the cases are flying. First of all, it's impossible. It's impossible. You can't write an article as of press time the day that they opened up and say the case increase is attributed to the opening of the state that's less than 12 hours old.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
But what are we seeing? The cases
are going to go up because more people are getting tested. But at the same time, that's also less as a percentage-wise because, fewer people that are getting tested, more of them don't have it than have it.
No, and that's the key, and that's where a lot of people get stuck is, and Landry. Hey, Landry. Hey, baby girl. That's my little niece. She's watching right now. So, hey, baby. Hey, Landry. How are you? Campbell, Zayden. How's everybody at the house? Love you guys. See you soon. We're going to have a bonfire tonight. Going to cook some s'mores. Fatty over here is real fired up about it. As long as it doesn't rain, we're in good shape. But no, so yes, absolutely. Like as testing increases, here's what people don't want to hear. As testing increases, morbidity and goes down, right? Like the death rate, mortality. Morbidity sounds.
Yeah, sounds good.
I don't know. Is that a word? It is a word, but it's morbid and not mortal. It's been a long week. What is it like Friday? But no, the numbers are going to go down. You're going to see a percentage of it's all going to change. And again, it goes, we've talked about this 3 times. You've hosted the show 4 times. This is the 3rd time we've said this. It's like the tornado didn't hit my house and you're pissed about it. It's like, what? No, the tornado didn't hit my house. We should be fired up about, hey, this disease wasn't as bad as we thought it was. This disease wasn't what we thought it was. Less Americans died. No, it's you know why we're pissed? Because our agenda. It's hard to further an agenda without fear, and that goes to the heart of all of this. It's all about the fear.
It's become the fear in the White House. I think people are putting on the mask now, and it's on television. And
oh goodness,
and it's it is something to worry. It is. Let's be honest. It is something to worry about for sure. But the age differences and things like that. They've got facts on some of this stuff, and we we have some people that are susceptible. Well, those people don't need to go out. They don't need to go places. No,
and just to be clear, at no point along this path have I ever, at any point in time, downplayed the effects of this virus. At no point, before you send me your email, save it. I never said this virus was not something to be concerned about, was not something to be truly introspective or go and search out the answers or be wear your mask, social distance, stay away. We have here at Hometown Heartbeat, we have from the beginning followed the order of the state and national governments and have never gone against until we got to the point where the government was starting to choose who wins and loses in business. Never have we ever said don't follow the rules. That's not what we're saying. But what we're saying now is facts are coming out. Like the real statistics are coming out, and the real statistics paint a very different picture than the one that Dr. Fauci presented. Yes, I've seen Plandemic. I saw it. I've seen it. I watched it 3 times. Do I believe all of it? There's a really compelling argument for a lot of it. Do I believe some of it? Do I believe that a documentary can be painted to paint any picture that it wants? Absolutely. So until I can independently verify personally for a fact those things as fact, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, it's true or it's false. There are a lot of really compelling things in there that I can support. I can research and find out about this doctor being exiled and being put in jail. Those things are out there if you go look for them and find them. But at the end of the day, what I'm looking at now is how does this impact me in my life? What are the goals or objectives that people around me are starting to use this disease as a reason to go out and accomplish? And I'll tell you the number one thing, mail-in votes. Mm-hmm. Why? Somebody tell me why. Somebody tell me why.
Well, that's what people are saying. I mean, the government can't get, I mean, I know this is another administration, but, another administration worked on the health care issue online for 2 years and couldn't get it right. And you expect,
Oh, be careful, Coach.
I know, but
Be careful.
But there's other things also. There's also other things.
You
but I'm
can't
just
say anything
saying,
about Obama. You'll be a racist.
I'm not trying to say that. I'm just saying just government in general is not the answer to everything.
No, that's exactly right. I mean, hey, I got a question for any of you out there. Name a time in your life where the government came in and they said, "Hey, we're the government and we're here to help," and it was a good thing. I'll wait. It doesn't happen. Because the government has a very specific purpose in our lives. It's set forth by the Bill of Rights, Constitution, the Articles. I mean, there is a way that the government was structured in this democratic republic that we are so fortunate to call home and blessed by God Almighty to inhabit as Americans. That dictates the way a government should and ought to function in society. Anytime a government attempts to grow outside of that parameter, we're at the risk of civil liberties being lost, of regressing as a nation to a point where honestly, years and years and years ago, some people threw some tea in a harbor and said, we're not going to have this anymore. Mm-hmm. And again, that's not what I'm advocating for. And I know you guys that come here every day and watch this, you're like, wait a minute, what? Is this a political? No, it's not. This is and I've been thinking about this. The new tagline of our show. It's like hometown heartbeat. It's really the pulse of Americana is what it is. It's the pulse of every hometown from here to wherever, and the real issues that we face on a daily basis. I happen to be a small business owner. Thad happens to be an educator, a coach, someone who is involved in that world. And so from our perspectives, all we can do is share with you what we see and encounter on a daily basis. Does my opinion permeate the show? Well, absolutely, because I'm sitting here talking for 45 minutes a day. You're going to hear what I think. And if you don't like it, don't tune in or do and comment. I would love to have a conversation with you. I would love to have you join us. Sit right here. Join the show. For those of you that haven't been here long enough, if you go back 7, 8, 9, 12 episodes ago, Molly sat right here across from me and we disagreed about 99% of everything. But we did so in a way that was constructive. It was how Americans ought to disagree. There was no hatred. There was no disappointment. There was no upset. It was two people with very different viewpoints from a very different point, like from very different life experiences, sharing those perspectives, respectfully disagreeing, coming to some kind of a conclusion. Sometimes it was, hey, we just don't agree. We just don't agree. And sometimes it was, you know what? I see your point in that. But those are the conversations that need to happen. I mean, right now we're surrounded by the Ahmaud Arbery case. We've got Joey in Harvest. That hits right here close to home. Georgia and Ahmaud and all that. And our world is being ripped apart by sin. Our world is being just torn in half by calamity, by disaster, by sin, by humans that seek to do their will as opposed to conform to his. And by his, I mean, from our perspective, from our point of view, would be God Almighty. And so what I advocate for here is that approach to everything. It's how we approach life, politics, business, you name it. The coronavirus, for the love of God. I love people. I don't want to see anybody die from a virus that ought not die. So if I can do my part, and I can step back and I can say, you know what, I can do this for a few weeks. Mm-hmm. Because that's my obligation and duty as someone who loves people. I'm going to do it. And we did it. And now we're sitting here saying, okay, now we've got some facts. We've got some real data. Now we move forward in a different direction. But it's not Zach's will. It's not Thad's opinion or decision. We're just over here offering our thoughts and process, the way we process this stuff. Really, what I've learned in the this is the 39th episode. In 39 episodes of this, I've come to cope with a lot of this stuff, like right here with you guys, with you guys that are sitting here listening to me rant or rave or whatever. Like, this is a really powerful tool for me because I get to come to you and I get to share my opinions and my thoughts. And I hope that I don't come across like some fool that doesn't research and doesn't have some facts to back up what he says. Like, I spend a lot of time truly wanting to come to you informed and honest and open and caring and loving and all these things. But like, you have to do the same thing. You cannot just walk through life and listen to what people say, take it as a fact and move forward. Because it's just not true. And I hate to squash the idealism in the room, but idealism's cute until you're 18. And then it's like the real world hits, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Idealism doesn't matter in the real world. There's a pragmatism that has to take over, right? Because as much as I want to believe people are inherently good, they're not. As much as I want to believe that people inherently have my best interest, they don't. I mean, and that's shown. And what the people are doing right now, what you're being ripped apart by people who want to sensationalize everything. They want to turn, you know what? And I'm going to offer my commentary on this, and I probably shouldn't, but I am. Ahmaud Arbery, this case in Georgia, the man was murdered. Okay, that's my opinion. I watched the video. I don't know the facts, but what I do know is there was a lack of respect for life that existed in that moment. Was it racially motivated? I have no idea. I don't know the men. I don't know anything about them. But I do know that they committed an act, in my opinion, that was murderous. Now, I can't pass any more judgment than that. The court of law will do their job. And hopefully they'll do it well and justice will be had. But what's happening right now is that's being turned into a rip you apart by the seams moment. People are in, like, the government doesn't want to see us come together. That's the most terrifying thing for the people in power, Thad, is that people that are my age, like your generation was you're a whole lot different. Like and your parents' generation was the greatest generation that ever walked the face of the planet, right? And so we've seen the degradation of humanity in a way. And I say that very loosely, but in a way, from your from your parents' generation to your generation down to my generation, like you've seen a step back, almost backwards. In like the unity and the patriotism and my question to you, and I mean I have my thoughts, but my question to you is, why do you think that is? Why do you think that from your parents to you to me, we've taken a step back each time?
I don't know. I was telling my wife, watching the president's press conference yesterday, and it's just the level of respect for people. It's just gone downhill so much. The dude's the president of the United States. Agree, disagree, whatever. Right. You don't just badger, It's not like you're talking to your best friend or something, and that just kind of, it's a trickle down effect. It's starting to happen everywhere.
There's a respect that ought to be tendered to the man in that office.
Correct.
When Obama was elected, I didn't vote for the man. I don't agree with a lot that he did in a lot of ways. I would disagree with but I was in the military under an Obama presidency. At no point in time was he not my president.
Correct.
He was my commander. He was my chief. He was if he would have snapped his fingers and said go, I would have jumped up and I would have honored my oath and sacrifice that I made to join and serve under him. I joined under Bush, and he became president. And at no point was there a riot. Was there we're not serving under this guy. It's not my president. No, you know why? He was elected. He was a duly elected president. And I don't know, Coach. My position on this is the reason we've seen a degradation, if you will, or a step back in humanity. I think if you look at journalism as a whole, and you look at, and I remember, and I've watched some documentaries on this that I've got to go find the name of because they're really good. They would opine that journalism died some 20-some years ago. I thought, I remember watching, I'm 33. So 20 years ago, I was old enough and you've just got these journalists that come on every night and they read the news and they read it without a bias. They read it without an opinion. They're just telling you what happened throughout the course of history during that day or that period or whatever. And it was something about Iraq, I believe. I believe, to me, when I saw the turn was during Bush's administration, when we crossed the berm in Iraq and men and women laid down their lives selflessly for, at the time, what they maybe believed was a different war than what it ended up being. And I'm not going to take that away. But from that point forward, journalism has taken a step back on a daily basis. I mean, they're steady trying to, to the point where we're talking about the AG Barr. And did you see that on the new, where they deliberately? My gosh! If you've not seen that clip, and that's one thing we're working on, and is being able to take these clips and play them for you. If I get them to Connor early enough, he'll be able to do that. So maybe we'll talk about this tomorrow. But on Face of the Nation, the Attorney General came on and had comments about the Flynn situation. Which, if you're not familiar with that, you need to be. That is it's
major. Oh
my goodness! It is. Look, Watergate. What happened during? What happened during Watergate? We got a president and said
Nixon had some people break in and do some things.
Well, but he just broke. But no. For those of you that are watching right now that didn't grow up during Watergate, what Nixon had some people do wasn't a fly in the ointment compared to what Hillary Clinton did, compared to what you fill in the blank. There's 100 things you could put in there. Watergate today would be like, of course we did. That's exactly what we did. Yeah, we broke into the hotel over there and we did some things. That's exactly what we did. You know why? Because we wanted to win. And it just goes, and it goes to what I'm saying. And that's this regression. And I say all that, and I'm going to bring it full circle, and then I'm going to let you guys go for the day. But full circle, if we bring it all the way back, what I'm trying to get to is this. The media, in my opinion, is very much the arm being used to rip us apart as a country, as Americans. They want to take Ahmaud Arbery, which I am willing to bet those of you watching, 95% of the people that you know would all say that was a terrible thing. It was a terrible thing. And if I had it my way, it would never happen again. But was it racist? I don't know. If it was, it may have been an outlier because the last 10 that you've been told were racist may or may not have been. The truth is not given a moment to breathe. Truth doesn't matter. What matters is agenda. And the scariest thing for those with an agenda is for those people like us to come together and be decidedly willing to make a difference. Like, if we all united, black, white, yellow, Christian, Protestant, Catholic, Jewish, and we all came together and we said, you know what? We all serve the same God. We all want the same for our country. We all are in the same boat here. And so I'm willing to give some so that you can take some. And I'm willing to take some if you're willing to give it so that you can get what you want. But at the end of the day, here are my principles. I believe life is sacred. I believe race doesn't matter. I believe, and you fill in the blank. That absolutely terrifies the ruling class, which is what they are. They're the ruling class. The system is broken. We can't fix it. So we have to operate within the system that we have and find a way to make change. And the only way to do that is by unifying ourselves. And if we can't come together on things as simple as the coronavirus and the response to it and if you watch Ahmaud Arbery and you decide that they were justified in what they did, I believe, and I'm sorry, I'm going to offend some people. I believe you are wrong. I'm not going to say you're a despicable human being, but you're close. You have a lack of a regard. And if you watch that video and you don't feel something in your heart, you need to search your heart for prejudice and for truth that is in God's word about where human life starts and where it ends and how people are all created in the same image of an almighty God that loves you and intimately knows where every hair on your head is placed. And if you don't see that, you and I are probably not going to see eye to eye on a lot. And I'm sorry if I'm getting emotional here. But people, this is our country. Like, this is what we're going to leave to our sons and our daughters and our grandchildren after that. And the legacy that we're leaving right now is one of indignation. It's one of since I don't know. We're sensationalizing everything. And it's disturbing and quite frankly, it's embarrassing. I wouldn't have signed up to protect the country that we now call America, and I mean that. And so as we face all this stuff, we face the coronavirus, we face Ahmaud Arbery and the racism that permeates our culture. And I'm not going to take that bait and go where everyone wants me to go with it. But certainly racism for all races, white, yellow, black, green, blue, doesn't matter. It exists today. And the reality is we can't change that. But what we can do is learn how to tolerate and learn how to negotiate and talk and understand and love and care for human people. Like we are all created in his image. And without that core competency, it doesn't really matter. None of this matters. Coronavirus doesn't matter. Open it up. SEC football doesn't matter. None of it matters. It all starts there. And I'm sorry if today got me on my soapbox. Thad's like, well, I'll just sit here and listen. But guys, I mean, it's so real, and it matters more than you'll ever give it credit for, ever. At the end of the day, what we have left of this country after this virus is going to be a shell of what it was when we started. And hardworking Americans are going to have to band together and say, you know what, let's fix this thing, and we're going to have to work our tails off. It's going to be hard. It's not going to be fun. But in World War II, I mean, women went to work in building tanks, and men went to.
It's crazy.
Look, if the hardest thing you've ever had to do in your life is say, you know what, I'm going to hunker down for the coronavirus and stay in my house for a few weeks. You've not experienced much in your life. You just haven't. You've not been tested that much. Quarantining in your fancy $250,000 house in the suburbs of North Alabama is nothing in comparison to what people before us have faced. I mean, I don't know about, my grandparents, my great-grandmother lived in a tent through the Great Depression 45 minutes from here with the stories were, we picked cotton. Our family picked cotton.
Oh, yeah.
That's what we did. And my uncle, he let a football scholarship to Ole Miss go so that he could stay and work the fields with my great-grandmother. And he passed 6 months ago. And as he went, like, I just watched this generation of man just go, that we need that type of American to make a comeback.
Yeah.
You work in the high schools, Coach. How many of those you got running around the halls at Old Athens? It's just terrifying. It's just a different world we live in today. And so, I don't know. I've probably gone like this all day and just kind of, snaked around. But the reality is this virus has changed the world. It's changed the world. It's changed the new normal they talk about. I'm tired of hearing about it, but it's absolutely accurate. I don't know what it's going to look like when we come out of this. But I know we're going to have to bust our tails to leave our mark on. Everybody talks about that generation, your parents. The greatest generation that ever walked the face of the planet. We need another one. We need that generation to make a comeback. And we need hardworking people. And I don't want to throw myself in that boat, but I feel like I fit in that boat. And so I band together with people like me, and I can point you to 100 other guys that are just like me, that want to help you. What's your idea, your innovation, your business, your whatever? Let us invest in you. Let us help you grow. Let us invest in you as a mentor you, grow you, whatever. Be your Shark Tank, if you will. Whatever it is, like if you've got, we need you right now. The world needs you right now. And so at the end of the day, that's where we're going to leave this. Coach, as always, parting wisdom. Lay it on him. He's going to learn. I do this to him every time, and he doesn't bring anything with him.
Parting wisdom.
Yeah, give him something.
Parting wisdom is...
Not party wisdom.
I know. Parting wisdom is that, like you just said, things are bad, yes, okay, but things are going to change. Things are going to be different, but we are going to be better as time goes on. And I think... listen to Fauci talk a little bit. We are going to get a vaccine.
Did you say Fauci?
Fauci.
Oh, Fauci. My bad. Sorry.
We are going to get a vaccine. That is going to happen. It just may be some time. So,
no, time is always of the essence, and it is always the great equalizer.
True.
I mean, it always is. All right, listen. So if you were wondering how in the world could you listen to these nuggets of wisdom that we've dropped on you today, you can find us anywhere your podcasts are downloaded. That would be the iTunes Store, Google Play, Spotify, you name it. You can find us there. We will be back tomorrow with episode 40. Bailey Romo, if you're out there listening, which I know you are. Hopefully she'll be here. That's my little sister. For those of you that don't know her, Bailey, Bailey, Romo, Romo. Find her on Facebook. Hit her up. Be like, we got to have you host the show because it would be a blast to have my little sister on the show. In the meantime, guys, go find the podcast. Go find the replay, YouTube. Look us up. Find us. And if you don't, you're a goober. But if you do, then we'll see you tomorrow. Guys, we love you. Thank you so much for tuning in and putting up with my crazy tale. As always, we love you. We'll see you soon. Connor, take it away, buddy.